Hey, what's going on everybody? Gleez here, and we're going to go over my EVO experience. The first thing we're going to start with is going over what happened in my Street Fighter V pool. So in my Street Fighter V pool, my first match was against an M. Bison. He was actually very, very good. He made it to the losers finals, I believe, in the pool, but he was a very excellent player. He had frame traps galore. He frame trapped the crap out of me, honestly. And I was hitting buttons when I shouldn't have been hitting buttons, and that's basically how I lost that. The next two matches, I wound up winning. I fought against a Chun-Li and a Birdie, and the Birdie player was actually very good. I came down to the last match, and I just wound up squeaking away with the win. Then I faced off against another Chun-Li, and what happened at the end, he actually baited me. So he dashed in with his V-trigger, ignited, I guess you could say, or activated. And when he dashed in, he's been doing this like all match, dashing in and then going for a hit, a jab, something along that, along those lines when he has his V-trigger activated. So when he dashed in, I was anticipating him pressing a button, and I actually used my critical art, and he wound up dashing in and blocked. So that's how I lost. It was 1-1, third round. We both had very little bit of energy left, and that's how I lost the Street Fighter match. I felt good playing. I mean, I have only played Street Fighter for a couple weeks at this point, seriously. So I wasn't really expecting too much, but I thought that I played okay. There's some things that I needed to change, some things that I need to adjust to, and I feel like I'm going to do that in the future. So my Mortal Kombat pool, I wound up losing in the semifinals of losers. And my first two matches, I breezed through. It was actually pretty good, pretty well played. I played some casual matches with Kinetic Onslaught, shout outs to him, and I was feeling real good as far as the inputs go with the, no online type of setup situation. So I won my first two matches. I was sitting in winners semis, and then I had to wait like an hour and a half, and there were no setups available. So I went into my next match, and I was dropping a lot of things, but the player that I played against actually played really, really well. I was talking to his dad, Euphoring, and I was talking to his dad. They're from New York. It was a real good experience. He's a real young dude, and he was playing really, really well. He has a really impressive Aaron Black. So that was really, really good. I thought that he played well, and it's good to see parents coming out, with their kids, and it was just awesome. I enjoy that aspect of the tournament scene and meeting people. So my next match, I faced off against a Takeda player. I wound up winning that set 2-1. He was a very good player as well. My pool was actually very, very good. Destroyer wound up coming out in winners. And then I faced off against Sanix, and he wound up winning the losers portion of the pool. And he was using Lasher Takeda. And he played really, really well as well. He was playing awesome. When I saw him play against Destroyer, man, he pushed Destroyer to the limits, dude. And he was very impressive to watch and very impressive to play against. I actually was sitting at home before I left, and I was thinking to myself, which character do I need to work on? I was like, I know I got to work on Lasher. I was like, nobody uses Lasher. The only person I know uses Lasher is V-Man. I already talked to him, and he ain't going. Lo and behold, I have a Lasher in my pool, so that's a matchup that I'm going to have to work on. But shout outs to Sanix, he played really, really well, and he was able to advance out of the pool through the losers portion of the bracket. So some other things that I found were awesome at EVO. I enjoyed the setups of the old school games. I actually played a lot of Tekken Tag, and I played a little bit of Tekken back in the day. But I was playing against some of these Japanese players and foreign players. Dude, they are no joke at Tekken. And I was, in the arcade, I always did well. I played a lot of Tekken 3, a lot of Tekken 2, and I always did well when I was playing against competition, at least in the United States. I would usually, I'd rip off 10 wins in a row. Dude, these guys, no joke. They were no joke. So there were a couple matches that, I won a round or it was close. But for the most part, when I was standing there anyway, I was the only one that could even get close to beating them. Everyone else would just get absolutely annihilated. I played some Killer Instinct, the original, on arcade, some Mortal Kombat 2, that was fun. Playing some Mortal Kombat 2, I was whipping out Shang Tsung and just, changing my character. That's always fun. I miss that, honestly. I miss being able to use Shang Tsung and then, use a whole bunch of different characters in the cast at one time. That's something that I definitely do miss. So some other cool things about the event, just the sheer amount of people at this event was crazy. You can see in the pictures that are posting through, kind of like a slideshow in the video, there were so many people in this huge like warehoused area. Another area that I thought was pretty cool about the event were all the different cosplayers. You know, you could see a Spider-Man, Heihachi, any type of character in the video game world. There was a Ganon from Zelda. There was actually a dude that I saw. It was him and his son, and he was dressed up as the adult Link, and his son was dressed up as Kid Link, and that was pretty awesome. And Link is one of my favorite characters in video games. I actually have speedrun Zelda 2. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to watch that. It's always fun to watch Zelda 2. Zelda 2 is one of the hardest games that there is to play, so to watch a speedrun is actually pretty cool in my opinion. I spent a lot of my time hanging out with Jay the Truth, so shout outs to him, as well as Retrotech. And Retrotech, we actually met up on Sunday, which was the live event. So we met up at the live event, we went back to the hotel room, we played a whole bunch of casual matches, and then we went to go watch the Street Fighter event live, and that's where L.I. Joe really took the show on, man. He did a great job, and he was playing to the crowd, and everybody was just hyping it up for L.I. Joe. I think that the whole experience, seeing how awesome the crowd reacted, seeing the intensity, and not only the crowd, but the players, seeing the competition on ESPN in front of a national audience, I just think that's such a big deal for not only the FGC, but just gaming in general. I think that's awesome. And that brings me to the next thing that occurred. So I was on my way home. I was at the airport. And at the airport, just hanging out, waiting for my flight. Boom, all of a sudden, my flight is delayed. So I'm sitting there kind of pissed off, kind of aggravated. So I see two dudes sitting across from me. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I think these guys are about to play some Street Fighter. The other guy asks if he has his laptop. He says, you got your controller? And he's like, yeah, we're just going to, where you got anywhere to hook it up? So I'm thinking to myself, like, these dudes definitely are going to be playing Street Fighter on their laptop. So I look over and I say to them, yo, you guys playing some Street Fighter? They're like, yeah, you want to play? So I'm like, yeah, absolutely I do. And these two dudes, their names are Cam TSB and Oreo the Wolf. And they are fighting game players from... One from Canada, Cam TSB is from Canada, the other one is from Maryland, I believe. Oreo the Wolf is from Maryland. He plays mostly Marvel, is what he tells me. And these two dudes are very good Street Fighter players. And so we hooked it up right in the airport. And in the airport, we had a bunch of people coming up. We had players from Japan that were on their way home coming up. And we had a whole group playing Street Fighter on laptop in the airport. It was awesome. That was probably the best experience that I had while I was there. So there were all these people, probably 20 people at any given time, that were at this console. And behind us, there was a whole group of Smash players, and they were playing on two different setups. So we had three different setups going on, two for Smash, one for Street Fighter. Everybody just coming together, and that's what it's about, man. It was awesome. It was probably the coolest experience that I had, even though my flight got delayed and then eventually canceled. So what I had to do was actually go to a hotel for the night. They wound up paying for it, and then I had to fly out the next day on what was probably the bumpiest 5-hour plane ride that I've ever been on, and it was awful. I literally felt sick for like 2 days, but I'm home now, I feel good, and I'm ready to get my game on. So that's about it. There's also going to be a video that's going to be coming out soon that's going to go over some updates as far as the YouTube channel as well as Twitch. I have some awesome and interesting things that most of you are going to like. So that was my Evo experience. It was a very good time and I enjoyed it. So I want to thank you for checking in. It's Big J Gleez signing out, and continue to game strong.